Hi guys, I'm Jennifer. I'm the founder of the Creamery. We are here today with the guys from Cultured Kindness out of Portland, Oregon. I've got Justin Miller and then I've got Mike Mendiola, and you guys are both at the helm of Cultured Kindness.
Mhm.
I'm so excited that we've got Cultured Kindness in our April box, which is going to have a pasta theme. And so everything will kind of be towards a real comfort pasta experience. Again, our boxes take us through appetizer through dessert. So you guys are going to be doing our appetizer cheese, which is going to be the Chetty, which is a sharp cheddar version Yeti. So I was hoping you guys could talk to us about your cheeses that'll be in the box.
Yeah, the Chetty is actually a brand new product for us that we're really excited. And the customers getting this box will be amongst the very first people to receive this cheese. And it combines our aged cheddar and our Yeti recipes together. So it's a cheddar style cheese that we've grown the white mold rind on the outside to make it like a brie and play those flavors off of each other. It's a little softer than the regular cheddar style, but brings all those rich, savory flavors in.
Great. These cheeses, I imagine that they are a cheese that's cultured. So it's got the probiotics. It's
Mhm.
brie is an aged cheese. You want to talk about how that process goes?
Yeah, we inoculate the brie culture. We both of the cheeses, like you said, are cultured and aged. It's about a week for the chev to develop that fermented flavor, and then the chetty is about a month. And we inoculate the culture that grows the rind at the time we make the cheese, and then age it and flip each round over like every day or every other day to make sure that it grows evenly and doesn't stick together or stick to the matting that it ages on. So
Yeah, there's the love,
a lot of
right?
love and effort goes into it.
Yeah, that's the love, and why, like, for me, why small batch artisan cheese is so beautiful. I kind of liken it to the difference between a home cooked meal and fast food. This is where somebody has put their heart and soul into it, and
Mhm.
I believe that energy transfers into the food, and it's just makes it better all the way around.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool. So what's your backstory? How did you guys get started? I know that when I got started back before COVID, you were one of the handful of companies out there doing this. So how
Mhm.
did that come to be?
So, Cultured Kindness started in 2017, and I had started experimenting with vegan cheese making back in the winter of 2012 to 2013, right when Miyoko's original artisan vegan cheese book came out.
Yeah.
And because I was still not fully vegan at that point, I had been vegetarian for multiple decades since I was 14
Hmm.
and still ate a little bit of cheese and really had become cognizant of that and wanted to give it up. And so started experimenting with the cheese making as a way to transition my own diet. And then a few years later, after doing it as a hobby, had the opportunity to start the business. And we're also married. And for the first few years, Mike supported me while I got the business going. And then later on, made sense for him to
What did you guys do before cheese making?
We did car collections.
Car collection, like
like
you
auto
collected
finance
cars,
and
or you called people to get their money because they were not paying their bill?
Yes,
yeah,
The
yeah.
latter?
yeah,
So it's quite a change.
Oh, I
So
bet this is so much more enjoyable.
it
much more
is.
enjoyable. Yeah.
And is that how you guys met?
Yes, we met at work.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Very cool.
And then I stayed on, like Justin said, um, for about 15 years total. And then in 2019, I saw his business growing and that he couldn't do it by himself and couldn't really afford to hire someone to do some of the job functions that were needed. So we took the plunge and I quit my corporate job, which I was getting burned out on,
Yeah.
and then just went full time into Culture Kindness, doing like the finances and the bookkeeping and like the marketing. And then eventually I learned how to make the cheese and then started making the cheesecakes. So yeah, I'm all in on the production side as well. And I also
Yeah,
do
when
farmers market.
I came up there, I met you and you were totally holding it down. You seem like the maker, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Justin and I are the main cheese makers right now, so it's not a day goes by where one of us can be gone from the business still. So we're
Mhm.
Yeah.
still pretty much
Yeah.
on the pretty small scale still, but growing. So
How did you get started, like at farmers market, or did you start like just with your storefront?
We started with the farmers market. That
Uh-huh.
was actually the very first thing I did was sign up to sell at a farmers market. And then before I even had any licensing or anything, and actually that farmers market management was very helpful in kind of connecting me with some resources to work through all the stuff to get the business going and the product launched safely. And
Yeah.
I went to the States like I want to ferment cashews to make cheese, and they're like, that doesn't sound very safe. So we worked with a professor to test, to make sure that we're not going to have salmonella or listeria in the cheese, and
Mhm.
do all of these like lab tests and whatnot to figure out our process and whatnot.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then how long until you opened your storefront?
The storefront came about 4 years later. So we opened the storefront in 2021.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
really similar to me. I started farmers market in 18,
mhm.
early 18, and then at the end of 2020, opened a storefront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The storefront really wasn't intended to be as big of the business as we thought it would be because it mainly was our production space in the back where we could call our own.
Yeah.
We thought, oh, we'll have a little storefront open as well, but it's actually helped support when some of the wholesale accounts were down during COVID and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but and then during holidays it gets really busy, so it's been a really good revenue stream for us.
Yeah. For me, one of the things that I'm dealing with right now, learning this, with having closed our restaurant last September, there isn't that daily cash flow, and it really helps a lot. It makes a really big difference as opposed to just being a wholesaler where you're just selling to other people who are going to sell yours or selling direct at farmers market. How many markets were you doing it in Portland?
Right now we're doing two,
So
but
you're
they're
still doing them.
yeah,
Mhm.
but they're two of the bigger ones in the area, so they're worth us doing. We might pick up a few smaller ones this year as well, kind of just one-offs once a month, just to get into different areas. And we
Uh-huh.
still do events. If there's a vegan farm special event, pop-up market, or out of city market, like a veg fest, we'll do those as well.
Yeah.
The farmers markets, they're good for marketing. And like, we, there's a local co-op here that sells our cheese that also has a farmers market. And that was the second farmers market we ever did. And we were there for, 2 or 3 years, and even through COVID at that market. And, that co-op is one of our better accounts now because for 3 years there was a weekly cheese tasting going on outside and people could have
Yeah.
samples. And so even though we no longer vend there, we developed a really good customer base from having done that for a while. So
Yeah, that's
I
very
think we
cool.
still do some of them because it maintains that direct connection to the
Mhm.
community and the customer base that you want to have trying your cheese and seeing the new products and whatnot. So
I've heard
And
that Portland is definitely one of the cities that is, the most catering to vegan.
mhm.
mhm.
Has that been like since before COVID, or have you really seen that emerge after COVID? Because like what I've seen with cheese making, again, you guys were there before COVID. There were only about a handful of people really on the scene at that time. But then during COVID, I think a lot of people turned to it and learned how to do it like sourdough, right? And so now
Yeah.
there's so many different makers. It has Portland exploded on the food scene since then, do you think, for that same reason? Or was it like that already before?
I think it was Portland already was a really big vegan scene even before COVID,
Uh-huh.
but I think it has continued to go in that direction and gotten bigger and bigger. And I mean, especially now that we have the storefront, we have a lot of people in the summers that like we came here to eat vegan food for
Yeah.
the weekend or for the week.
Yeah.
So it's people travel to the city for that, and so I think it's always been a thing. It's just continued to go in that direction since COVID.
Yeah, and I think also there's little pockets in the area where there's a lot of vegan businesses and restaurants, and we
Mhm.
happen to be in one of them. So people who are traveling can hit up a lot of restaurants and us at the same time.
Mhm.
So we're
Yeah.
we're located very well to capture some of that business.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the building we're in was prior to COVID was known as the Vegan Mini Mall because it
Uh-huh.
was for all vegan businesses. And unfortunately, with COVID, there's been some turnover, but we are
Yeah.
still in the same building as a vegan bakery.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember when I had come, I mean, I think it was like, I don't maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And Mama Dut, I was so excited because I was getting in to see her place and try her before she actually closed down. So I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, cool. Is there anything else you guys want to give a shout out? Anything you guys got coming up, or you'd want anybody to know?
Well, we like to, right now we're mainly in Portland and the Seattle area, and we'd like to eventually expand down into California as well, and partner with Reamery because Reamery does a lot of shipping, which we don't do yet.
Yeah.
So that's something that's on our radar too, but the logistics of that is a little tricky. But we're still growing, and there's still a lot of areas that we want to get into.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, so I'm so excited about the Chetty. I think that that's something that's going to just do so well. We would love, I mean, I'm so thrilled it's going to be in the April box, and I'm hoping it's something that we can continue to have and offer because we don't have anything like that. So I'm really just grateful for you guys' time today and just wish you just all the best of luck. I'm so grateful for the ones of us that have been able to endure because I've seen so many great companies come and go regardless of their level of funding. Or their level of passion. It takes a lot. A lot of hats have to be worn to make this work,
Yeah. That's the flip side to what you were asking about the food scene before and after COVID. It's like it was good before COVID, it's still good, and it's improved, but there's just a lot of people that aren't around anymore, and that's always
yeah. So anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for your time today and have
thanks for having
the
us.
rest of it.
Yeah,
All right.
you do the same.
Ciao.
Bye bye.